What did you look like in those days?
We wore our hair long. We wore scruffy clothes. We certainly didn't look like British soldiers.
Jim became one of the Det's first operators. He served through 2 decades.
But what about the accent? That's a dead giveaway, isn't it?
Absolutely. We didn't say anything to anybody. And when we did, we spoke in grunts and groans. But there was times when, OK, maybe you had to put on a bit of an Irish accent.
They were often operating individually in potentially extremely dangerous and hostile areas. So an enormously brave organisation who've contributed to the conduct of the campaign well out of proportion to their relatively small size.
Given the knife-edge danger involved, operators are trained to resist an IRA interrogation if caught. It's brutal and realistic, and women aren't excluded. Anna became one of the Det's few female operators. For her, the training was a nightmare.
A bag was put on my head, and then I was thrown onto a concrete floor in a very cold location. I was hosed down in cold water, and clothes were taken off me. During this was happening, obviously the bag was still in my head, I couldn't see what was happening. I was kicked, punched, I was being abused by male and female people who I obviously didn't recognise the voices.
Abused?
Physical abuse about obviously the state I was in, the fact that they abused, obviously when my clothes came off my body, very sarcastic about how you appeared.
You were stripped? Stripped.
And overalls were put on. And then, again, you were wet through again, cold water, and you sat down. It was very quiet for a long time.
Did you crack?
I did at the end. Told them my correct name. I just wanted to get out of there. I was just at my limits of endurance. It just got to a point where you just don't care if you live or die, really.
What was the failure rate?
Well, I know out of 1,000 applicants in the beginning, 17 of us actually went to Northern Ireland.
Female operators were a special asset.
A woman can get away with so much, it's unbelievable. We would walk around, and I've stood next to the main players in a town in Tyrone, and I've listened to them. I've stood there with my shopping bag, as did the other women, and we've listened to them, we've walked past them, and they've never batted an eye. They'd never realised that they were so sort of close to a surveillance operator. We also had the flexibility of a man and a woman in the car. It seems such the most natural thing in the world, especially at night time. You were the courting couple. If it ever came to something a bit compromising, then you just got in a bit of a clinch and pretended you were snogging, and often it diffused the situation.
The Det was specially trained in methods of entry.
Did you break into IRA men's houses?
Yes, I did. And if there was a weapon hide to be looked at, then yes, we were trained to get in and do it.
Trained to break into houses?
Yes.
Did that strike you as strange, that you were being taught how to break and enter?
Not at all. I'd seen that the situation in Northern Ireland was quite desperate, and desperate measures were needed.
Two of the Det's earliest targets were Jerry Adams and Brendan Hughes, believed to be top IRA leaders in Belfast. The net closed in.
There'd been a major operation going on for some time directly against the Belfast Brigade staff, and it was decided at a very high level that the brigade staff would be taken out and interned.
The house was in front of the Falls Road, right, so I'd noticed the car passing. I'd then seen the car again, sitting on the other side of the Falls Road, directly facing the house.
I was sitting in my car. To all intents and purposes, I was an insurance salesman. and my role really was to trigger the arrest operation. Once all the members of brigade staff were inside the meeting house, most of them had gone in. Jerry Adams arrived. He sat on my car bonnet.
What, while you're sitting there?
While I'm sitting in it, gave a wave back, and immediately that gave me a cover.
And how do you feel when Mr. Adams comes and sits on your bonnet?
Nervous, very nervous. And then he went into the house.
2 or 3 minutes later, the house that I was in was totally surrounded.
Who do you think the people in the car were?
I have no doubt they were British undercover intelligence officers. I have no doubt about it.
Adams and Hughes were arrested and imprisoned. It was the Debt's first coup.
I think 14 Intelligence Company were actually pivotal, and I think that they will prove to have been, one of the most significant weapons in the battle against that kind of urban terrorism.
When operators went out, there was no guarantee they'd ever come back.
I was out on a patrol. We were monitoring terrorist activity one day. I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and one of my team members was shot. He'd probably gone round too many times around a certain area, and he'd been rumbled, and they shot him. Fortunately, he wasn't killed.
A tape recorder was found in the car. It had recorded the movements of suspects under surveillance. Sinn Féin had a field day.
5 to 3. McNamee, McManus, wrong. The old X-ray 1 and X-ray 28 came from Broadway area.
But the Debts were not the only lives on the line. They worked hand in hand with the RUC's Special Branch, who provided vital intelligence from a network of informers, the state's most deadly weapon.